where we were when we last stopped, it says, no, oh, we got all the way to the bottom where it says, Isaiah prays such a prayer of unreserved availability in the presence of God. The Old Testament prophet retells of his encounter with the Holy One, and when God asks, "Whom shall I send, and who will go for us?" Isaiah 6 and 8. And without knowing the details, without knowing when or where, Isaiah prayed this stunning, life altering prayer: "Here I am, send me." Now, that takes us into 3.2, glory to God, which reads, let's be honest. Telling God you will do whatever He wants you to do is scary. Now, remember, we're applying this concept to our relationship with emotional eating. Are we all on the same page? Tap the like button on the platforms if we agree what we're talking about. Make sure you know. I want you to know what you're listening to, so you can understand how powerful this is and how this can help you literally change your entire wellness journey. It's literally could change your entire weight loss journey forever, understanding what I'm talking about tonight. Understanding, take 5 or 10 minutes standing this live long enough to get what God had for you, for me to even come up on your FYP is very important on all of these platforms. Because what I'm sharing with you is a way to break that behavioral part that no one is able to answer for you. Where am I sharing it from? Well, first, of course, I'm sharing it from an educational space. That's my previous career, education, degrees. But the second part is I've lived it. So 20 or 30 years ago, I was just a young lady who had just gotten out of college. I was working in mental health as a behavioral health clinical coordinator. That's all I would have known about life. But then life continued. I advanced, and then at one point in that advancement, I got sick because of all the things you can think of. I began to eat to feel better and restrict and throw up and all of the things. But these were things I had been doing my whole life. But in this moment in which I got sick enough to be still enough to be sat down long enough where I couldn't out succeed the pain, I couldn't hide from the trauma, the abuse, the dysregulation, the nervousness, anxiousness, the feelings of unwantedness, abandonment, rejection that I lived with my entire life. Couldn't run anymore once I got sick and I became immobile. So I began to eat it away. And in the midst of me eating away that pain, it's the photo of the woman you see. Okay? Because a long time ago, my brain understood food to be a coping mechanism, a form of healing medication for my brain, for my nervous system. For me, food just became about nourishment about 5 years ago. Okay, I'll say 8 when I got in recovery, which was 9 years ago for my food. It was the first time that my entire life, hi Lala, thank you. It was the first time in my entire life that food wasn't, that my whole life didn't wrap around food. Welcome in. It was the first time in my life that food was not the only reason why I was existing. Everything that I did at that point in my life, it was wrapped around when we was going to eat, what we were going to eat, and who I was going to eat it with. I was going from happy hour to going out to dinner. There would be weekends where I would go out to eat all weekend long and would look up in the refrigerator would be full of leftovers, but I would still keep participating. Because socializing with food became a form of communication, so if we weren't going to get food, there was not much else we could do together. So it kind of became the culture of hanging with most of my friends. So when I wanted to begin to go hiking, they would say things like, I don't hike. So then if I became serious about my wellness journey, it means that slowly but surely the things I enjoy are no longer the things they enjoy. It means somebody is going two different directions. Yeah, this coffee I got is not very good. I do like my Dutch Brothers, but it's, I guess because I haven't drank Dutch Brothers in your whole family, Lala, yep. I haven't drank it in 4 months. I guess it's probably just tasting different. You know how sometimes you go to a different coffee place, it tastes different. Thank you, Caddy. Welcome in. So you look up and your whole entire life is eat, 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 eat. You can probably turn to it, eat, 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 eat. Go to church, we eat. Somebody die, we eat. The baby coming, we eat. She pregnant, we eat. We get married, we eat. We going shopping, we eat. We on the porch, we eat. We can. It's Friday, we eat. We have a fish fry Friday, but we can't have nothing baked at the fish fry. But every Friday we frying that fish, baby, because we gotta eat. We ain't kicking no ball. We ain't playing no dodgeball, no relay races, no nothing. We just meeting and eating, meeting and eating, meeting and eating, meeting and eating, meeting and eating. And before you know it, if you and your friend don't go eat together, y'all don't got nothing to do. Y'all even plan to go shopping for an event y'all going to, and y'all still end up getting something before y'all get to the store y'all want to shop to and get some afterwards. Because shopping is also a way to numb the nervous system. So after you shop, you be hungry. You be upset. You say, act. Some people shop and say, I worked up a hunger. How? What was you doing that made you hungry? Don't you mean you just didn't eat enough that morning, or it's time for you to eat again? But what'll happen is it'll justify us going to the all you can eat buffet and eating until we can't breathe. And now that after that we just fit in, we might be bloated because we done ate something we shouldn't have. Am I making it up? I used to do stuff like this. That's why I talk about it. I kind of be trying to see if anybody can relate to me in real life. And some of the stuff I say to my team, I'm gonna say it's in my life and see if anybody relate. If don't nobody relate, I'm just gonna skip the subject because I don't want these people to know all my business. But what I'm trying to explain is what I'm living is real. So what you're living is real. But you're not crazy from it. Everything wrong with you ain't got something to do with your weight. It's something is really wrong with the food. Some of the food is making you sick regardless of what size you are. Don't let nobody be gaslighting you like that. Well, you just eat less and move more. No, not if I have a brain based coping strategy where chewing helps calm down my anxiousness and I suffer and live with the chronic anxiety disorder. I don't want to say no words to get us no problems. And I live with the chronic, you know what issue, and I'm always anxious, and chewing calms me down. Of course, I'm going to be always sitting around snacking and eating because chewing is what keeps me calm. If I don't chew gum, chew ice, suck on a water bottle, then I'm so anxious I can't function. So I need this avenue, okay? I need this avenue. All right, here we go. Let's be honest. A lot of food is not what it's even if you ate it all. You're like, yep, yep. Lala, you are so right. Kay Habu, you are so right. Like 100% on the money. 100% on the money. You're 100% on the money. Chapter 3.3, it says, glory to God. Let's be on all the chemicals, baby. I'm pretty sure some of us is sitting around here eating a whole lot relaxer. I'm pretty sure some of this food got the amount of chemicals as a minimum live relaxer we used to get. We sitting around eating a whole live relaxer. Yep. Y'all remember live relaxer? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Okay. Let's be honest. Telling God you will do whatever He wants you to do is scary. Does that scare y'all? This section? Saying that you ask God to take away all the impure things of your heart, and then asking Him to break you and make you a vessel, and to send you to do His will. Does that scare you? That you may discover your calling, and it may be all the things you said you never wanted to do. Because obesity for some of us is a form of physical protection because we've been felt so unsafe for so long, for so many years, that the weight serves as a blanket that keeps us wrapped. Because we believe that America doesn't like big people. Some of us subconsciously have eaten at times to disappear, meaning allow our size to make us less appealing because we don't want people to approach us because it hasn't been safe to do that. So there's so many other reasons why an individual is battling with weight, underweight, overweight, that we just got to learn to lead with more love and provide more education, because everything isn't about calorie count, apple cider vinegar, and wearing a weighted vest, y'all. Some of this stuff is in your head. I was in a lab, and the person told told the lady in the audience, all you need to do is walk on the treadmill and eat less. And I thought, well, if her metabolism's already super slow, why would you tell her to eat less? How's she gonna speed up her metabolism if it's already real slow? Why would you tell somebody fasting that has slow metabolism? Their metabolism is gonna get slower over time because you need something in there when you're trying to train it for weight loss. If you're trying to train it to build lean muscle and get into apogee, there's items you have to use for that. It's not water. Water doesn't put your body into natural apogee during intermittent fasting. It dehydrates your organs. So you have to be using something during that intermittent fasting to fortify visceral fat being broken down and excreted during urine. It's a science to it. Our bodies are like these little scientific machines. And it seems like A doesn't touch B, but they kind of work together like a well-oiled locomotion. So when I chew and emaciate, it sends a message to my brain and to my stomach to begin to release certain chemicals, hormones, and enzymes so that it can prepare to absorb, break down, and use that food for nourishment. If I'm not doing that frequent enough, then it becomes lazy. That process becomes lazy and it becomes dependent on this aggressive re- rebound cycle I mentioned earlier. So it makes weight loss a little bit difficult to sustain. Even though you can get results, it's harder to sustain it because the body is um, let's say fixated on this cycle that you've used to cope. So right now you're trying to switch it to nutrition, but you have to put something in its place and treat it. You have to feel the behavior with another behavior until the brain replaces that sensation that it gets from the eating. Okay? So let's be honest. Telling God you will do whatever He wants you to do is scary, right? I remember talking to my friends about this kind of availability when I was in a church youth group as a teenager. One of my buddies was convinced that God would send him to Africa as a missionary where he'd be broke, never see electricity again, and have to go to the bathroom in a hole in the ground. That's kind of funny. I don't want that, Lord. Please, no, never. Another guy just knew he'd have to marry some Christian girl that he found unattractive. I remember thinking that if I prayed the dangerous prayer, God might make me become a pastor or something horrible like that. How's that for a warning that this prayer is dangerous? Wait, wait, hold on. Did y'all read that? Hold on. Let's be honest. Telling God you will do whatever He wants you to do is scary. Welcome in, YouTube. Right? I remember talking to my friends about this kind of availability when I was in church youth group as a teenager. One of my buddies was convinced that God would send him to Africa as a missionary where he'd be broke, never see electricity again, and have to go to the bathroom in a hole in the ground. Another guy just knew he'd have to marry some Christian girl that he'd found unattractive. I remember thinking that if I prayed that dangerous prayer, God may make me become a pastor or something horrible like that. How is that for a warning that this prayer is dangerous? The person that wrote this book is a pastor. Hi, Nicole. Hi, Latoya. Hi, Mary. Hold that. Pastor. Okay. This is why I said, does it scare you if you say, God, send me? Send me to become who you want me to be, not who I think I should be. Take every experience away from me so that I can have a new experience in you. Okay, wait, then let's keep going then. All right, if y'all want to train it, let's keep riding it. How can you do whatever God wants? How could he could ask you to do something you never want to do, something overwhelming, something unpleasant. This type of dangerous prayer of submission is not easy to pray, especially if you don't have a deep trust and reverence for God. But when you do get to know God, his character, his nature, his holiness, you become more willing to offer his prayer. In fact, when you experience God for who he really is, you will actually enjoy praying with such vulnerability. Isaiah didn't pray this prayer in a vacuum. It didn't come out of nowhere and for no reason. In the first verse of this book, Isaiah sets the context explaining that his encounter with God took place in the year that King Uzziah died. Since Uzziah, I think Uzziah, yeah, was a beloved and trusted king, Isaiah fell into a season of chaos, turmoil, and desperation without his popular leader. So it would have been logical for Isaiah to begin his prophecy with something dramatically ominous. He could have said, in the lowest year of our nation, or he might have written, in the year that we all lost hope. During this time of desperation and fear, however, Isaiah wrote, in the year that the king Uzziah died, I saw the Lord, high and exalted, seated on a throne, and the train of his robe filled the temple. Just read about God or hear others talk about God. He saw the Lord. He experienced God's presence in a unique way. If you're going to ask God to use you, then a genuine encounter with him goes a long way in trusting him. Now, remember, we started this series because many of us in a live were vulnerable and admitted that there have been times where we know that food has become our everything, our restricting our dieting, or something has become our everything, or we have lived under the radar of our existence due to our weight. We also agreed that there were times in our life where we cried out for prayer. We asked for deliverance, but we had never asked God to deliver us from the bondage of food. So we decided as a group, TikTok, Instagram, and during our last daily reading that we finished in January, that we would tackle this book and dangerously ask God to break everything connected to us, bonded to us, related to food, emotional eating, cravings, urges, cycling, dieting, chronic, all of it, sugar, all of it. Break it. We agreed. We agreed that we would desperately first say, God, search me. We would say, search me, find everything in me that is not of you and break it. Anything in me that I'm rationalizing in my eating, my exercising, my dieting, my culture, my generations, break it. Any statements I'm making that's keeping me from rising to where I'm supposed to be in you, God, break it. God, the compulsion about the dieting, the mirror, the scale, the food, the cycles, the meal plans, break it. Everything I think I know, if it's keeping me from you, remove it. That's what we said we would do. We agreed as a group. Then, after we said break it, I think that's how we said it. We might have said break it. Then we said, no, we said search me. We said search me. We said search me and find everything. Then we said, God, come in and break it. Whatever you find, break it. Take it from me. Remove it. Remove any rationalizations, misunderstandings, behaviors that are keeping me from being able to better serve you, being able to better serve myself. Pour out the habits, the codependency, the natures that make me want to ignore me, make me be more relevant than anything else other than you. Take it away, oh God. If I have used people, places, and things as my weaponry, my avoidance, my sabotage, my drug, my high, remove it from me. Oh God, take it from me so that I may have a new experience in this thing I'm calling life. Then we said, first we said search, then we said break. Break us. Now, what we're saying is, now that you have broken me from the things that are bonding me to what is not of you, yep, can you please send me to do your will, not mine? Please call me to my calling. Please place me in my place, because I refuse to let the feeding my face to keep me any longer separate from God. I refuse to think that hand to mouth would continue to provide a gap between me and my God. I refuse to run to the bite instead of prayer. I refuse to emotionally calm myself with chewing instead of calming myself with the word of God. I refuse to pick watching food shows over scriptures when I'm in an urge or in a craving. I'm choosing to ask God to take this away from me because I've come to the conclusion that I cannot do it on my own. I surrender. Now that I understand that, God, can you break the bondage that may be connected within me? Can you get in there and find it and then break it and remove it? And then when you move it, can you just send me out whole and new? Send me out renewed, ready to take on a journey of you and me. No distractions, no interferences from the culture. Hello, Revelation! No distraction, focused. Okay, it goes on, says, but when you do not get to know God, I'll read it again, his character, his nature, his holiness, you become more willing to offer this prayer. In fact, but when you do get to know God, in fact, when you experience God for who he really is, it says you will actually enjoy praying with such vulnerability. Can you pray for me? Yes, I'll pray for you, beautiful. Yes, I will 100% pray for you in your food noise. Of course. Of course. Of course. I've been there. Okay. Did you hear me? Okay. God, for who he really is, when you want to, in fact, when you experience God for who he really is, you will actually enjoy praying with such vulnerability. It says when God is in us, then asking him to send us, to search us, to break us won't be as scary because we'll have a sense of peace because we've experienced him. Okay, that's deep. I'm liking that. It says Isaiah didn't pray this prayer in a vacuum. It didn't come out of nowhere and for no reason. In the first verse of the okay, I read that. I'm sorry. Okay, I read that. I'm sorry. I lost my spot. My apologies. Isaiah didn't just read about God or hear others talk about God. He saw the Lord. He experienced God's presence in a unique way. If we're going to ask God to use us, then genuine encounter with God goes a long way in trusting him. You may sense God's presence while reading his word. You may recognize that he is with you as you worship at church. You could find yourself overcome by his goodness while sitting on a mountaintop enjoying his creation. You may discover he is with you and gives you words to say when you are sharing your faith with a friend. Or you might feel all alone in a hard season of your life. But suddenly you become aware that you are not really alone. Ivan, you're not really alone. Is it Yvonne? Am I saying it right? You are not alone. Where did it go? Where did I keep losing my spot? I apologize. Not only is God with you in your pain, but he's always been there. Isaiah saw the Lord, and in God's presence, Isaiah was stunned. He was shaken. He was astounded. God was high and lifted up. God was on his throne. The train of his robe filled the temple. The prophet did his best to use human words to describe heavenly creatures encircling God, praising his name. Isaiah called them seraphim, angelic, fiery beings with 6 wings surrounding the Lord God. Because of his holiness of the Lord, these heavenly beings covered their face with 2 of their wings to shield themselves from the glory of the Most High God. These worshipers cried out to each other with loud voices, shouting, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord Almighty, and the whole earth is full of his glory." Isaiah 6 and 3. Their voices boomed loud enough that the doorpost shook and the temple trembled, and the glory of God filled the temple. When was the last time you had such an encounter with God that you were left in awe at his glory and his holiness? Dangerous prayers. The book I'm reading from is called Dangerous Prayers. And we are on 119, and you can get it from the Zine. Just type in Dangerous Prayers, Craig Groeschel. It looks just like this. It's on Audible and it has a workbook. It's amazing. My team has been reading this book off and on for years. Years. Game changer. Game changer to my prayer life. Game changer to my prayer life. Yeah. Because this is brain. This is in my brain. This thinking, this obsession, this compulsion is in my brain. So I need a power greater than myself to break it. I need something greater than counting calories, going to the gym, and restricting. I need something greater than myself to break this barrier, this bondage, this thing that I have used to feel better, to think better, to live better, to socialize, to function, to exist, to cope. I need something bigger than myself. I can't just break it on my own because it's stemming from a place that's in my functioning, my capacity center. When was the okay? I read that. When was the last time you had such an encounter with God that you were left in awe of His glory and holiness? Too often these days, many people treat Him casually, even trivially, familiar with popular perceptions of Him, but one unaware of His holiness. Many people take God for granted. To some, He's the man upstairs or the big guy in the sky. But these, yeah, you just add to your period. Come back every night. I got you, mom. I'm right here with you. I lost my page again. I'm so sorry about that, y'all. But these pictures of God don't begin to come close to showing the Lord the respect, glory, and honor He deserves. If you ever caught a true vision of God in His purest essence, I promise you, you would never refer to Him like a pal from down the road. God is too mighty to disrespect. He is too holy to treat casually. He is too good to speak to with ungrateful familiarity. He is too majestic to casually take Him for granted. And I'm going to stop right there and say this about that statement. I believe that we take the power of God for granted when we engage in things like emotional eating and listen to the food noise and urges. Then we're going to mark our pages today. And we're going to bend it. Because what I was explaining, I think last week, I was explaining in our session that I noticed that for many of us, if something happens, we'll find ourselves eating and calling our girlfriend instead of praying. Okay, guys, it's official. I just got the message back. We are on for the 9th at 7 p.m. Arizona time, 9 p.m. Eastern, for the masterclass next week on food noise and cravings. We're going to talk about the neuroscience, what's happening in your brain, what you do to stop it, and what you do, how long it lasts. I know you think you're dying, but what if I told you a food craving is only 90 seconds long? So if you interrupt it, you can slow some of it down. So you guys asked me to kind of start teaching you these things and bringing it to you. So I got you. The masterclass is already uploaded. The link is already available. If you go to my bio and go to the site listed, it'll take you to a black header on my site, and that's actually the link to the masterclass. Grab your ticket, and then you'll get an email that tells you exactly where you need to be on the day of. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go right now and update that email because we had such an amazing event on Monday. It was amazing. There's only 25 seats. The reason why I keep it small, like I told you last time, because by keeping it small, it allows me the opportunity to actually, hi Sheila, to teach the techniques in the actual class. We teach the techniques. So that has just been the best way to do it. And it was amazing. And the ladies that came, they said, I want to come back. They was like, we got to have this again. We got to have this again. And so because it's been asked for, we're going to do it. Thank you, Sheila. We're going to do it. I want to teach you guys. It does take, you got to come in. You got to pay attention. You got to be in a quiet space. You got to, you do have to be in there for the right reasons, right? So, yeah, come on in. Let's do it. Monday, I want to teach you. It's the class. Last time the class went long, but we were finished in exactly an hour and 15 minutes. But the class is only 45 minutes. But because some of the people couldn't get logged in, we started late. So I made sure it was 45 minutes. Because I didn't want people to not get what they paid for. Yeah, it was beautiful. At the end, I give you the media that we use so you have it for later reference. So that when you have questions, you can go right back to that media. Hi, Mookie. How are you? Okay. So you're going to get a couple things. You're going to get the class, the actual master class. You're going to get the actual techniques. I'm going to be teaching them as we did Monday. This is the second master class, so there's going to be a series of 6 of them, and this is 2. So if you were at number 1, you definitely want to be at number 2 because they're a continuation. And because there will be a mini playback of the first 15 minutes of number 1, you want to be there because it's going to bring you forward to number 2. Okay? So, yeah, tap in. Make sure you follow me so you can get this information. Now, what? Now, this is not meal plans and stuff. That's not what this is. It's actually behavior modification and therapeutic techniques to help with food noise, emotional eating, and cravings. Okay. So we're actually learning the neurotransmitters and what process is happening when they occur. Okay. And then I'm teaching you the behavioral strategies that help you break them. You guys keep asking me, Coach, you're telling me that it's my chewing, but how do I fix it? Guess what? I'm going to make a space for you to do that because you're right. I need to show you how. I can't spend all these hours every single night for the last year and a half telling you what it is, what it looks like, and how to discover it, and not physically take the opportunity to teach it to you. So we're going to learn it. We're going to learn it so we can break it. We're going to start an epidemic of breaking the bondages of obesity in every family, across every state, and across every nation. We can do this thing, okay? So make sure you tap in. Make sure you tap in next Monday. But I'll be back tomorrow because we only right here on this. So I come every night. Well, last night I didn't come because when I have clients real late, sometimes it ends up being too late when I get done with my clients. I do see clients every day. This is my full-time company. I've been working and doing what I do for 11 years. Love it. No complaints here. Love my clients. Love what I do. It's hard work, but it's worth it. And I'm excited to give you knowledge and access to information. It's not a bunch of science work. It's not these big old research studies. I've conjugated it down to understandable language that you can easily read, easily apply the techniques, and easily use them. And then I've created a space for you to come and do those techniques, learn the strategies, ask questions, clarify, and do them. Okay? Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern, masterclass. Don't want to miss it. Bio, link, top of the web page. Click it. Get your seat. It's only 25 spots. See you guys later. Have a good night. Bye. Love you guys. Y'all got so much work to do. I gotta get off here. I'm talking about I got a lot of work to do. Like I'm talking about I have to get off here and get an email that was too big that we kept trying to send that keeps coming back by that mail demon thingy or whatever it's called. It keeps kicking it back. So I need to make that adjustment. A. And then good night, beautiful. Then the next lovely lady. Hi, babe. And then the next thing I gotta do is I didn't see you come in. I have to so give her individual place. Okay. Okay, this plan has to wait till the weekend because it's gonna take a full staff and we have to staff her because she's brand new. We don't know her yet. So we gotta get we already did his microdosing plan. We sent that.